And we are off. So, start of the game, we just got to mash through some text. Interesting thing about this game is you can actually hit L and R to clear the last text box slightly faster. That works on any text box. And we have a race between Salatmann, who has a 128 PB, and Lanxion, who has a 136. So depending on how fresh, like we saw a race earlier where a 2X runner got a high 130 or a mid 130. So it's very possible that this Salatmann isn't fully warmed up. I don't know. I don't know much if he's been actively running lately. But yeah. So now we're moving through. You're gonna see possibly both, but almost definitely Salatmann do pumping. So you can kind of see it here when he's moving to the right or when he's moving up. You're gonna see that he's kind of nudging his movement or hugging walls. And both these are pumping action. So you'll see that right there from Salatmann. You can see on his inputs, actually, on display at the bottom, that when he moves in those directions, he will be mashing the left or right. That's so that he can gain a few frames here and there. And that just speeds you up just a tiny little bit. And now with the blue boomerang, which is actually an innocuously powerful item. So the boomerang actually surprisingly saves quite a bit of time throughout the run. There's quite a few tricks you can do with it in the early game. It lets you pick up a few items quickly. Lets you pick up the bid key here, which saves a couple frames or a second, depending on how you. Oh, and Salatmann going for the 8/. Very well done. And so same with Lanxion, and he gets the even easier one where he doesn't have to move. So very good from both runners there. That boss is deceivingly difficult. There are two strats that are not too different in speed. They both did the 8/ strat, but there's also the strat where you you grab a pot there, you throw it, and then you slash at him 4 times. So both those are about equal in time. So it really depends on your comfort level with that boss fight. So again, you are watching the Legend of Zelda: Link to the Past No Major Glitches tournament, and we are in, I think, week 2 or we just started week 3 actually, and there are 170-ish matches. We are in groups of 4. Each group is made up between players separated by groups of 32 and seeded. So we have the top 32, the next 32. The next 32 and the bottom 32 all separated into basically piles, and those piles were shuffled amongst the groups, the 32 groups that we have. To proceed through the tournament, you either need a 3-0 record, or you need a 2-1 record and win some tie breaks. Once the tie breaks will be mainly done by, I believe, average time. And so here we are in the sewers. There's actually a little bit of RNG here. The enemies are pretty much completely random where they're going to end up. But you'll see that they were just in completely different spots. Using the boomerang to get past them. This guy is always kind of in the way. Boomerang is a little bit faster than slashing enemies. Just a little bit if you are boomeranging an enemy right in front of you. Now, coming up is the Key Rat, after the water parts of the sewers. The Key Rat is has a few patterns. He can either kind of stop and chill and run around in circles, or he's going to run straight towards you here, which is kind of what he did. So that was a good pattern for both runners. Both runners got the key. Very good. Both runners on it make a very good progress, leaving escape. Salatman honestly showing exactly how pumping can save time, because I can tell that Salatman is doing pumping quite a bit. And pumping definitely saves about 30 to 45 seconds in the first, like, 11 minutes of the game. Something like that. It's actually pretty insane. It's such a little innocuous trick is so huge in this game. Okay, so now leaving, we're going to see a few more movement tricks on movement, not so much tricks, but, you know, differences throughout the run. You're going to maybe see them move in what looks like a very strange manner. And that is to prevent anti-pumping, which is a bad form of pumping. You're seeing that they're just running their face along the bridge there. And that's because if you're facing downwards, you don't lose frames when you move. But if you are facing right or up, you do. So they're going to try their best to move with their character facing either down or to the right. And they do not want to face the left. Or up. Up is best. So you'll see here, actually, if you look at Salatman when he goes up these bridges, you can actually see that he's mashing both left and right, and that's because it's double pumping. And that is something you can do when there's a wall on either side of you. So you can see that he's just mashing it, and that is the fastest way. Okay, so now we're just dodging these cannonballs. Eastern Palace is a fairly straightforward dungeon. We're going to see two minor tricks. They're not really glitches, they're more just tricks. We're going to abuse damage boosting a little bit later, but first we have the skeleton room. So normally this room spawns 4 skeletons. If you hit that top left skeleton pile, they'll spawn. But if you hit a specific part of that, kind of the top right, then you spawn 2 skeletons, because the other skeletons spawn inside the pot and inside the wall, and they don't actually spawn. The game attempts to spawn them, but just doesn't place them. Because it can't. It can't place enemies where there are objects, so. It has nothing to do with how fast you are in that room, like some people think. It is 100% where you hit that spot. Nothing to do with speed, nothing to do with timing. You just gotta hit the right pixel on, or right pixels on that area. These runners are still very close to each other. And so here's the damage boost. This is, so there's multiple ways to do it. Lanxion gets it a little bit cleaner than Salatman, but Salatman gets it fine. This is where I didn't even talk about, but Sanctuary Heart, a completely optional heart container that almost everyone picks up. It gives you so much extra room for error. It gives you like extra hits on bosses, entire extra hits on bosses later that you can survive. And here we go, have the bow, so we can use this to get through the rest of the dungeon. The bow doesn't have, has a few uses, but not too many super important uses. So here we go. And both runners getting the key door down. Yeah, Salatmann's just going full on. He's not worrying about picking up any hearts. Salatmann also has 5 arrows left, so I assume he skipped a pot that Lanxion took. But he's going to be fine arrow-wise. Yeah, and he even got the 5 arrows from the red eye door there. Oh, Jane, he got a really clean double eye door room. Lanxion taking the extra time to pick up that extra 20, just to help out his rupee route. And then Salatmann with there. So I'll explain with Lanxion. So you saw that he shot 5 arrows to the right, and then boom. So what he did there was the quick kill. You shoot 5 arrows to the right, and then you move to the left side of the room and you shoot straight down. And if you do it correctly, you kill the eye door that you shot 2 arrows into at the same time-ish that you kill the second to last eye door. And that prevents the last eye door from turning red, which would actually fully heal him and makes him a bit harder to kill. And as you can see, Lanxion only had 1 arrow left. So if that phase would have happened, he would have had to slash the red eye door 32 times. So now that you're in the Pegasus boots, this is an important item that allows us to pull off a few tricks throughout the run. There's also an optional part of the rupee route that you can get from above here in that cracked wall. We'll see if either runner goes for it. It also gives you thrash bonds. Neither runner's gone for it, so there's going to be a different set of tricks. So that's spin speed, the first one. It's sort of a movement storage glitch. And so when you spin, you basically move your thumb. The way I do it, you move your thumb from the spin button to the dash button, and if you do that, you'll usually get spin speed. But it's just about getting hit and spin and then hit and dash 1 frame after, and that will store your dash movement and will trigger when you hit a staircase. You're also seeing library spin speed here, which is a pretty interesting movement when you do it right, as you can see here. And there's the book. So now that we have the book, we can move on to Desert Palace. We're going to see 1 more spin speed. These spin speeds don't save as much time as a few you can do later on in the run. But I mean, any time save that you can get in a run like this, that's basically down to seconds at this point. They are just 1 screen apart right now, but they are very close to each other. Looks like about 2 screens, but that can easily be caught up. This game has many deaths that can be over 3 minutes. So there's also the whole desert split I actually enjoy. Once you get the boots, the game goes from kind of like slow to very fast and very cool. Getting dash lines down properly and memorizing them is really fun, and I just like getting a very satisfying straight dash, no bonks, just point A to point B. It's actually quite fun. Desert is basically that in a nutshell. It's all about getting as good dash as you can. We're going to see a poke dash here. Yep. And then we're seeing a small trick there where we brush up against the Armos Knights. Or sorry. Wow, chat. No. Where you brush up against the torch, and it causes the key to fall over, even though you didn't hit the torch itself. Now we have to kill these 3 popos. I think that's their name. They have a lot. I've seen them called a lot of things, but I call them popos. Lanxion with actually a little bit of a cleaner popo room. Grabbing the big key, getting through the cannonball room. Lanxion's still at full health, and Salatmann is actually taking some damage. They're also grabbing some extra. They're going to be grabbing some extra arrows throughout here because arrows is also the quickest way that we have to kill the next boss. Technically, Ice Rod is the fastest way thing that you have access to at this point, but the Ice Rod is so far out of the way that we won't be getting that until way later in the speedrun. And neat little small trick here that they're both doing, dashing past that sand, the quicksand, before it falls down. And moving on, so that's a key dash that you just saw both runners do, dashing through the door there. They are very close. This is great. So a key dash happens when you dash towards a door on it. How's a very weird eyed laser. It happens when you dash at a door within, I believe it is on a multiple of 4 pixels. And if you do that, then you will unlock the door and then dash through it, which is very cool. It looks cool. And if you've never seen it before, it's actually like, whoa! Because if you've played this game, you know that normally you'd bonk off of a door. So, it's very cool. Ooh, looks like a pretty good fight for Salatmann, and Lanxion's getting quite a few arrows in there. Both are... Oh no, Lanxion still has 3 guys left over. Salatmann is having a bit of a better fight here. Okay, Lanxion just has 1 more down. This fight is awful, so I'll try to explain post-up, because we'll just be running through the desert here. Or we'll be running through the desert and doing a few things. So I'll try to quickly explain it before the next trick. So that fight is actually the most annoying Light World boss, despite what other people will try to claim. They are completely random. You basically have to attempt to react. Ooh, nice dash. You basically have to attempt to react to, like I said, almost what feels completely random. The best way to do it is with arrows, but that's very difficult because arrows are somewhat slow. Salatmann almost had a perfect fight, but if you let them go too long, they'll just start doing little short hops, and short hops you can barely do anything in. So, and so, oh, Salatmann just got what is Fake Flipper. Fake Flipper is a glitch when you jump into the water, and you do it, and you move onto a screen the frame after, so then it gives you the ability to swim in the water without the flippers, which we've dubbed Fake Flippers. It's a very good glitch. It saves about 6 seconds when done optimally. More if you don't have the movement down for the overworld movement up north. So, walking with the old man, we can't dash with the old man. Well, we can, but it moves very slowly. And you waste time in the dash animation. And now at the mirror, a pretty important item. And using the mirror there, and there's the better spin speed. These 2 spin speeds save way more time than the spin speeds we saw earlier. It also lets you go super fast and dash, like just ignore. It basically just lets you ignore the cabbages if you do it right. They will very rarely hit you when you're in spin speed. So we might see, with this boomerang out, I'm hoping, we might see Boom Dash. It looks like he's setting up for it. This is a very neat trick. It doesn't it doesn't really save much time, I don't think, if any. But it does look cool, but he didn't get it. So what he would have done is he would have dashed while shooting his boomerang down, and then landed on the switch as it's hit. And that would have and that would save some time. Because you don't have to hit the switch in the next room. So right there, there's that switch. Oh, a bonk there. That's the first bonk we've seen. Bonks will happen. Even if it doesn't save time, it does give you a nice, like, 20-second input break. Something like that. It's close to 20 seconds that you spend in that room. Very, very clean room for Salatman. These runners are very close despite their PBs being quite different. That's what I love about this tournament. We are seeing people improve at exponential rates at this game, and this game was already one of the games with the highest, like, quantity of quality runners. Oh, nice bomb jump there. Getting the slightly faster one, but Lanxion not too far behind, using the bonk to basically guarantee it. And Moldorm, not actually a boss that gets too much disrespect. It's actually a pretty fun boss to do once you learn it. If you hold your sword out and dash through him, he won't knock you down. If you hold your sword out, he won't really knock you down because of the way that pits work. Unless he hits you, unless he does like a spin and kind of hits you away from your sword, which happens to some runners. I think the boss is fun. Once you learn the boss, he doesn't feel as bad anymore. Oh, Salatman goes for the Hera spin speed and gets it. And they're basically tied. Like they are. Lanxion is slightly ahead though. This is a very good race going into the final stretch of Light World. Okay, moving on. Oh, nice arrow there. So in here, we're going to see them. They pulled the tree to get a few extra rupees. Then they're going to try to kill a specific amount of enemies, or at least over 4, without taking damage is the important part. They want to not take damage here. Oh, and he almost got sniped by that guard. That was a little spooky. Lanxion. And then they will be able to get 80 rupees from a tree. So this is going to wrap up the first part of the rupee route. If you get hit, you need to grab a backup chest on the way to Palace of Darkness. Yes, correct. Scrivo in chat, correct. Just making more correct. It's 4 or more. That's why I kind of said 4. Well, it doesn't really matter as long as you don't get hit, and it's over 4. Is what I meant. Salatmann and Lanxion turn in a little bit. I believe the tree pulls work in the US version the exact same way. And Lanxion picks up the mushroom here. So he'll be getting, most likely, be getting the powder safety. Although somewhat recently, people have discovered a new glitch called fake powder, which you can do. And moving into the dungeon that gives the most amount of problems for a lot of runners. This is a very combat-heavy dungeon, and it has a lot of ways to get through it. So we're just going to see one way, which is arrow. Salatmann having a bit of a issue, it looked like, with this room. But one thing to keep in mind, and so Salatmann got it, Lanxion didn't. So these guards are part of the same group of enemies that drop fairies and such. So if you kill them with a dash, it doesn't progress the loot table, and that fairy that he got there sorry. So yeah, loot tables work in a way that if you kill an enemy, it progresses the loot table, but if you dash kill an enemy, it doesn't. So if you dash kill those guys, you have the potential to get a fairy drop in Turtle Rock, where you probably need it a little bit more than you would need it here. So it's just a small, minor manipulation. Very clean run from both runners. These runners are so close. They are a room apart, this entire light world. One room or one screen. Personal bests do not tell the whole story. And moving on to Adenum. So we can get, so this fight could actually separate our runners the most of any fight in this game. Most of any room in the game, this fight right here could separate our runners. And it has nothing to do with the runner's skill. So as you can see there, in the first fight, he shot a yellow. Oh, both runners got one blue ball. 2 blue balls for Salatmann. 2 blue balls for Lanxion. Okay, second hit. So they are even right now at 2 blue balls. The blue balls can't deal damage to Adenum. That is 3 blue balls for Lanxion. So Lanxion is behind by 1. On top of the blue balls, underappreciated is how long it takes for him to move. If he goes from one corner of the room to the other, you lose time compared to if he just does short things like Salatmann's did. Oh man, another blue ball for Lanxion. There's a lot of blue balls in this fight, and I've lost track because they're both doing this at the same time. But Lanxion is up to like 5 or 6. Okay, so both have seen the same amount of lightning bolts, it looks like, so far. Salatman is definitely seeing more yellow balls than blue so far. Oh, no, never mind. I spoke too much. We are... Oh, no. Lanxion, where are these? This fight is taking forever. I don't know how many... What? Another phase for Salatman? Oh my goodness, this is intense. They're not done yet. Lanxion got out first. Oh, they both got 7. Oh my goodness, that is one of the worst. That is one of the worst blue ball RNGs I have seen in. I have seen in my commentary. Oh, 7 and 8. Oh man, they are not far from each other right now. Okay, well, now moving into Dark World, we're back to some overworld movement here. We'll be moving on to Palace of Darkness, which is going to have this is probably the second biggest time skip in a dungeon, or time save in a dungeon. Yeah, probably something like that. So Lanxion very slightly ahead. Again, these runners have been 1 or 2 screens apart the entire run. So we have to pay this monkey 10. If you get hit, this monkey runs away, and for Salatman, that would mean he'd have to find 5 more rupees. Lanxion picked up an extra 20 at one point, giving him his current money. Okay. And moving on, we're going to see them do shortly the hammer. Yep, they just got to do a few more mirrors. We're going to abuse the mirror in this dungeon really, really hard. We basically pick up a key, mirror, pick up a key, mirror, pick up a big key, mirror, pick up another key, mirror. Boss, switch to our mirror. Actually, no, we don't do that. We need to stay in our we need to stay in Dark World after this dungeon, actually. And here's the big key, another mirror out. Okay, moving on up, we are shortly going to see our 2 runners attempt hammering up. A 45-second time save, and oh no, Salatman drops off there. It doesn't quick turn fast enough. So this is a double vertical pixel perfect trick. So the x-axis doesn't matter as much as the y-axis does. In fact, the x-axis doesn't matter at all. We only care about where we are up or down. And Lanxion gets it first try. You're going to see that they're switching to the mirror because they're going to mirror out right after they pick up this small key. So Lanxion is pulling a little bit ahead there with that fall from Salatman. Lanxion's been running like a beast lately, and also shoutouts to him for helping run the tournament with the admins. He has been doing a great job getting a lot of these races going and getting everybody in the right spot, rallying or finding people, etc. So props to him for stepping up and helping in that way. Okay, moving on, we hit that statue. Oh, good turtle room from both runners, it looks like. I missed Lanxion's a little bit on Salatmann's screen. We are moving on to Helmasaur, probably the boss that gives the most trouble next to Landmolus. You have to hit him 17 times with the hammer, or 4 or 5 times. I don't remember the number with bombs, but you don't want to do that one. And you're going to see the runners, both are holding out their sword in this way that they can stay oriented facing it. It's a little bit slower because of the lag produced by the sword sparkle. But you can see here, spin, spin, and then you don't want to slash a few times. Or another spin. And very good fight from Lanxion. Very clean fight from both runners. And with the crystal cutscenes, we're going to see 7 of these. They are pretty long. I don't know the exact time lost to cutscenes, but it's actually quite a bit. Is it a time loss if they're unskippable? No. But you can say that you've lost time in your life to these cutscenes. Oh, hey, item dashing! That's the other glitch! So that's the other boots glitch that we use in this run. There are far more many boots glitches, but we are not allowed to use them. The item dash is done by holding item, or pressing item and dash at the same time. And there's the shovel. Okay, and moving, and we're going to see another use. Okay, so there's a dart here. This is why spin speed on this screen is actually very useful. That red dart is, like, super duper fast. Like, we call him Usain Bolt for a very good reason. And now we are going to move on to Dark World. We're going to see Lanxion take a little bit of a sidetrack. He's going to be picking up a powder, which is one of the most important safeties in the game. And now moving on, Lanxion is going to be slightly behind because, you know, you might think, well, okay, he just spent like 20 to 30 seconds getting that. But when you think about it, if you die, you lose way more time and also some motivation. So, death is bad. You always want to not die. So not dying always feels better than dying. So moving on to Thieves Town, another dungeon with very good dashing. There's in fact one called the Dog Pixel that you can get. It feels really good when you get it right. Well, wonder if either runner will go for it. It's not too much of a time difference, it just makes a very difficult room way easier if you get it. So, both runners though did take the easiest safety to take, Sanctuary Heart. I not taking Sanctuary Heart is crazy. But moving on to the basement, we just saw the hallway. That is where the dot pixel could have happened. You can actually dash through that whole hallway without hitting anything. It's very difficult to hit that pixel. Wonder if we'll see it from Lanxion. It's not really like a required trick or anything. He does get it! Straight through the room. Good room from Lanxion there. Alright, so moving on, I wonder if there's another thing you can do here. Ah, we are going to see it. So, you can't, I don't think you can P-dash through these little doors, but you can dash, and you do save time by dashing between each of those prison doors. Salatmann grabbing the Titan's Mitts, which we're going to need. Well, not only to beat the game, but short. Oh, Salatmann very low on health right now. He's going to have to be very careful. Now, you might think, if you've played this casually, that Salatmann is going to, well, oh, he gets sniped by the red Zazits, unfortunately. That is a very... He would have actually rather died to blind than right there. He is going to actually have to go all the way back down to the basement to get the maiden. If he had died to blind, he would have only had to go back to the boss room. So that's one of the deaths that, like I said earlier, there are many deaths that lose you quite a bit of time. This one's probably 30 to 45 seconds. Or probably more. But as I said, that's why people like to spend the 30 to 45 seconds if he, say, had powder. There's actually an anti-fairy in the prison cell section that you can powder. Now that's not GG. Lanxion could still die. There are worse deaths. There are way worse deaths. Oh, and Salatman thinks he has to go back up, but you only... Once you bomb it, you're good. It stays bombed forever, even if you leave the dungeon later. He has just realized. That's actually something that I could see NMG runners not knowing, because the dam in... or at least not have in the back of your mind, the dam does it. The dam resets if you leave, so you might think the same thing of other states and other dungeons. Also, a lot of very, very good runners at games are very autopilot-y, for good reason. That's a lot of speedrunning is memory, muscle memory, so... Lanxion climbing up the stairs. I actually don't know if it's faster to climb up the stairs, or if it is faster to avoid the stairs and jump down. So Lanxion pulling ahead with that death. Salatman's gonna fight blind, and you'll see here that he might not even take damage in this blind fight, so if he reached blind, he probably would have been fine. Blind, I didn't get to explain it while we were discussing Salatman. It is a very scripted fight at the top level. And you see there, he did not even take damage on that fight. Like I said, if he had made it to... right before his death, I was about to say that he probably wasn't going to take damage in the fight, so... Oh, no offense, Dash. Okay, so watching a meeting cutscene on one hand, grabbing our last rupee pile on the other. And moving. So this is a very annoying room. So this is some runners' least favorite room, from what I found out while doing this tournament on Lanxion's side. These mummies, people really hate them. A way if you really, really hate those mummies to get through there, you actually pull out your blue boomerang that you have. You can stun those guys with it. It's a little slow, but if you do have trouble with that room, you can always do that, and that's better than getting hit a billion times and possibly dying, or putting your health at risk in this part. And I've seen the concern in chat a lot. We are actually racing on a website called speedracing.tv. And on that website is how we will determine if the run is who wins the run. So if they're decent on the screen, it doesn't matter as much. A 1 or 2 second decent is normal in these races. Now moving on, we're seeing Lanxion go through the back half of Stolitz. And getting the key from that, getting the last key from that guy there. Oh, very clean fight from Lanxion. Only two of the... A good way to tell how good this fight is how many of these spites has moved. Lanxion is actually playing his heart out today. He is very much going. This is a very impressive run. Salatmann's no slouch here, but like this is just a very good race. Again, I think the best part about these speed gaming tournaments is how much it improves the community as a whole. I mean, glitches are found, strats are found, the pool of good runners increases. In general, these speed gaming runs are great. But right now, for Lanxion, we're seeing him grab a few items that he needs to complete the game that are a bit out of the way. Obviously, this is a Zelda game. Now, this is still an earlier Zelda game, but this was the first one to really have to really explore the idea of like the world, even more so than Zelda 1, in that there are a lot of really out of the way places that you would never really look or figure out unless you talk to every NPC, and so that's what made this game great. So right here, we are picking up the Quake Medallion from the Quake Fish, or the Catfish. All you have to do is throw something in there, and there you go. And then we'll be picking up the Flippers from Kinzora for 500 rupees. Most runners, or some runners, will stay in the green. Other runners will take, I think it's 15-ish seconds to pick up the red mail in Ganon's Tower. The blue mail is a good 2 or 3 minute, like, loss of time to get, so nobody will be picking up the blue mail. Well, I didn't say nobody. Who knows? Maybe somebody does. I don't know. Everybody in the tournament. The red mail, though, is somewhat common. Not very, but somewhat. And Salatmann is going to be... It's about a sequence behind, it looks like right now. But this can still, again, easily be made up. Lanxion could fail a trick. He could die to a boss. He could lose time just to movement, honestly. So we're going to use the Little Warp. It has a different name. I'm not going to say it. And we're going to move on to Ice Palace. That warp is very annoying. Its hitbox is very bleh, honestly. Bleh is a good way to describe that hitbox. And Lanxion, so we are going to see the single largest in-dungeon time save shortly from Lanxion, and that is hammering up. So here we are, Ice Palace bomb jump, coming up in the next room. Did I call it hammering up? I hope I didn't call it hammering up. That would be amazing. So here it is. Here's the bomb jump. There are quite a few ways to set it up, actually. And first try from Lanxion. Pulls up the hammer, does the hammer. Lanxion is just pulling out all the stops today. Jeez. You know what he probably did? He probably studied the wonderful Blunt Bunny God Splice, which you can get by typing in !mark God Slice in chat. Great video. You should watch that. If you want to see how this game is done at the top of life. Lanxion, though, going all out. He's only on 4 hearts right now, but he has the powder, so I'm thinking he's going to go back one room after dropping down the hole to the boss to grab a fairy. Again, another thin. Oh, he's at 2 hearts. Those Stalfos Knights do not mess around if they hit you. But here it is. He is going to be, I believe, at full hearts. Nope, 1 heart short. He's probably playing that very loose there on purpose. And with that very close, sorry, apologies, I zoned out a little bit. Only issue with one commentator. That was a fantastic little fight there. Also, I didn't mention, that's actually a glitch there. What Salatmann and Lanxion did with the Stalfos Knights. Killing them both with 1 bomb is a glitch. They are supposed to only take damage when they're collapsed. But when there's 2 in the room, if you hit 1, the other will be considered vulnerable by the game. So. And moving on, I will try to explain the Cold Star fight a little bit better. Just for clarity, Lanxion is going to swap. It looks like straight there. And that is a pretty straightforward dungeon with not too many tricks. So it'll give me ample time to talk about Salatmann's fight here and give a little bit of a better explanation. Okay, so the first thing that we have to do is we need to break his ice shell, which requires 8 shots from the fire rod. Some weird stuff with sword beams can also be done. We want to move in a specific way. Oh, he's doing the best. Oh my gosh, that was perfect. Okay, that fight was so fast I couldn't even spend the time to explain what happened. Okay, to try to do a quick summary. What he did there is he hit it 8 times. Then he manipulated where the ice would drop so that he could get a spin off, keep them in. He does a poke dash to keep them moving forward. He then pushed them against the wall to get a double spin dash on them and then slash them 1 more time for the kill. That is pretty much the optimal kill there. Whew, that was a fast fight. Alright, so moving on. So, at this point, once we are actually... Up until this point, we were actually doing every dungeon with less hearts than the game expected. Or than the game would normally give us at that point. One less. Or two less in the case of Blind. The game's actual dungeon order is Palace of Darkness, Swamp Palace, Skull Woods, Thieves Town, Ice Palace, Mire, Turtle Rock. But we do it in a slightly different order because it's faster. So, now that we're in Swamp Palace, we have way more hearts, we have a better sword. This dungeon is made pretty easy because of the equipment that we currently have access to. But I mean, so Salatmann has been making up time this entire time. Okay, and moving on, we're going to be picking up our bid key here, which will lead us to the hookshot. And moving on, we're going to grab this one more key here, and he gets the cool looking thing where you get to use your hookshot twice there. I can never find the right pixel for that, but it exists. And moving on, we've got Salatmann, who's about a section behind. The left side he still has to do, while Lanxion is moving on to the boss. Now, there are quite a few ways to do this boss. I don't know which way these runners will do. Salatmann's PB leads me to believe he might do my favorite strat in the entire game. But it will speak for itself when it happens, so we'll just let it happen. We'll just let the strats happen if they happen. Artist is a pretty interesting. That was weird. Pretty interesting boss. You have to hookshot off little pus from his body and slash at them, and then you can do some spins on him after he gets mad. Oh, Lanxion's doing it, or tried to do it. You saw it a little bit there. There's a way to zero cycle Artist before he ever spins. If you do what Lanxion started to do, but it is an extremely difficult trick to do correctly. He started it, though. So, now we'll see Salatmann. Okay, and we're going to see Salatmann move on. This is the longest crystal cutscene, by the way, so if it looks like Salatmann is catching up here, he's going to have to sit through this cutscene too. And moving on, we're gonna see Lanxion pick up a item here. He's gonna pick up the Ether Medallion, which he's gonna need to enter Turtle Rock. Oh, we're seeing it! Yes! Oh! Oh, it's so close! Feels so good to see that done right. Oh. That is such a cool looking trick. Because this boss usually takes so long, but when you do that trick, it's just buttery smooth and fast. Oh boy. Good job, Salatmann. Salatmann is definitely catching up with his movement. And he's also going to pick up Ice Rod for Turtle Rock. Well, for Trinex. And then we'll be moving on to Misery Mire. The 6th dungeon in Dark World. Using the Ether Medallion that we just picked up to get through here. Okay, his screen, that was a little trippy, I'm not gonna lie. And very good Mire 2 is what we call that room with the Whiz Robes. Having sword beams for that room is pretty important for doing it quickly. Otherwise, you have to pull out the fire rod, and it's a bit slower. And then you also need to find some more magic. So, generally, you really, really want beams for that room. Well, there it is. Salatmann grabbing his Ether Medallion as well. And Salatmann also choosing to grab his rod now. You can get this pretty much anytime. Also getting rid of his bombs. This is actually a time save then. He's trying to make it so that he has one less menu later. Okay, and Lanxion is just going to finish up the dungeon. He's going to have to go get the Cane of Samaria, which is the final item for both these runners that they will get. At this point, they will be just complete. There are no more dungeon items that they need. And they probably, based on their play, won't be getting any additional safeties like the Mirror Shield or Red Mail. So, just some big keys, some small keys, and some crystals. Well, Lanxion missing the item dash there. He kind of backed out a little bit too soon. So Maria beams only exist on screen. Actually, most of your weapon attacks only exist on screen. So. Oh, nice way to avoid that. I don't even know if that was intentional, but it was really cool. Doing WQ Vidi strats here. This is a strat. Wow, and it even pulls out the arrow. I've never seen that one before. That was very good. Okay, so Lanxion, Salatmann's almost done the dungeon, it looks like. Just got the dark rooms and this done. But then we have Turtle Rock after. This is one of the hardest dungeons in the game. Possibly has a few rooms that are harder than GT. It and GT are just a very hard back-to-back segment to have to do. Oh, Lanxion getting dead rocked, unfortunately. So that's one way to lose time in this run. Lanxion not going for the Waffle House drive-through. That's okay. That barely saves any time. It just looks cool. And also going for W2 strats. Actually loses his speed. He got dinned by one of the guys, so he's going to use his bow, which is a decent strat. And then he's just going to finish off very clean. Ooh, you got a little close there. Okay, so moving on, Lanxion is going to move through this dungeon. This and Mire are very large dungeons, but they actually have quite a few rooms that are completely useless to the run. In fact, they have a lot of trap rooms, which once you enter them, you can't escape until every enemy is dead. We're going to use a little trick here, which is to hookshot into the pit to do this room a little bit faster. Very good for Salatmann. His climb up the mountain seems pretty good. very good chain jump room from Lanxion. Realizing where the chain jumps were and reacting to it. And very good. So yeah, now both runners are in DP or Turtle Rock. And nope, no mirror shield. Made sense at this level of play. You only need the mirror shield for one part. It doesn't really actually help out that much. That's on with a very interesting strat there. Wow. That's a very cool way to do that room. Okay, both runners having clean chain jump rooms. Chain jumps deal, I want to say, 6 damage to you? Might be 4, but it's 6 sounds about right. Very clean laser dash. Thanks, chat. And, oh, backdoor strat from Lanxion. This actually saves a little bit of time. So what do you have to... So you notice that Lanxion switched weapons early there. And that was because you can't change weapons while something is explode. That was an extremely clean... Wow. That was very good. And he gets the double hit. And oh, that was an amazing Trinex. So you have to switch weapons there because while a boss enemy is exploding, you can't switch, go into your item menu and switch. So Lanix is on an absolute monster run right now. So, moving on, Lanxion is heading to our final destination, Ganon's Tower. Well, sort of final destination. So we're gonna see what strat Salatman goes for. Oh, blocking the T there. Okay. And Trinit's down for Salatman. Small T for Lanxion. Lanxion going through the left side because it is the faster side. We have to get all the way to the Ice Armos, which is our first of 4 refights. All the refights being slightly different than their original fight, or very different in the case of the 4th one. Okay, and moving on. Grabs the extra arrows, he did need them. Okay. Moving on, we're just... There we go. Oh, he gets all the arrow drops there. Fantastic. He doesn't need that many, but it's nice to have. Gets lasered, which is actually faster? Question mark? So GT execution is a big deal. This is where a lot of runners could lose a race. I'm not sure if 2 minutes, which is about their difference right now, is could be lost here. But a death at the top of the tower or a death to Ganon could easily change this race. So very clean first room of the gauntlet. The gauntlet being these next 5 rooms. Second room, red guys with a conveyor belt and 1 BMOS. Does it very cleanly. Next room, 3 blue Zaziks and 2 BMOSes with some spikes in the middle. This guy chilling at the top of the room is very annoying, but gets it with an arrow. Oh, very nice dash. Gets the guy. That was very clean first 4 rooms. Well, third room was a bit sketchy. Pulls out the fire rod. Wow, very good gauntlet from Lanxion. Stops the powder real quick. Very good idea. May as well fill up when you have the chance. This is going to move these 2 guys. Whoa. Gets it. It's probably going to be a 2 cycle. Did he miss? He didn't miss. He got it. Perfect. Okay, and moving along. Oh, wow. I didn't know you could walk across the bridge after getting hit. That was very nice. Okay, so Lanxion is at the top. He's just got to move through here. And then Salatmann is starting his climb. Lanxion does not actually need to powder these guys. He just needs that magic. Okay, moving on. This room is quite annoying, I find, but he gets through it pretty well. The way he did it is a very consistent way of getting through that room. We'll see how the gauntlet treats Salatmann. He's handling it pretty well. Salatmann's health is a little worrisome. Again, he doesn't have powder, so he has no way to regain his health in a major way. Oh, gets the hit. That's a 1. So this addendum, the clones will always shoot proper balls. Blue balls can come out of regular addendum, though. And only regular addendum. So generally, it is a good idea to focus on... Oh, that would have been a triple, but he teleported too quickly. And that was very good. Very clean. I love the one cycle there that Salatmann did. One cycle with canes is very cool. Lanxion is going to begin a 1. If he has a very good fight here, and I mean an extremely good fight here, he might have a 1-3-0. Might. But he's definitely in a 1-1 barred any major mistakes. So what he needs to do is he needs to deal, quote-unquote, 12 hits with his sword. Every slash counts as like 1.5 or 2. I can't remember. Or sorry, spin. Slashes are 12 slashes. So usually it will be 2 phases here, unless he gets very good RNG. And then you need to have 4 times in this phase. And another time. Very good Ganon warps. I guess I forgot to mention that Ganon warps could also steal his 1-3-0. Okay, on to this phase. This is the important phase. He needs to get this trick here. There it is. Okay, so that's Torch Lich. That happens when you've lit in 1 torch. And you need to now hit Ganon as he moves away in all of these phases. He's playing it safe by using his torch instead of his fire rod. He's switching to fire rod now. Now that he's done a few hits on. This part of the fight is extremely difficult. You have to hit him 12 times here. Oh, gets in a nice little sneaky hit there. Oh, this is looking very close to the end. Salatmann getting through Adder 2, and he is down. That is a mid 131, a huge PB. Let me see if we can get him in here. And moving through Ganon, he is on phase 4 already. Very good, John. And that is Salatmann with the mid 133. Very clean. So there's a bit of a new process for us on the back end. So you just got to I gotta find the runners and get them in here. Congratulations, Lanxion, on both the victory and the huge PB, from what I hear.
Yeah, thanks. Thank you very much. PB by about 2 minutes.
Yeah, you played like an animal in that run.
Thank you. Yeah, I had a I did a ton of practice like the last couple of days. Got a 133 like I think 2 days ago, and then we've just been practicing nonstop for hours in the last 2 days. And I guess it really paid off.
Yeah.
Oh man.
The you guys were back to back until Thieves Town, where you went and obviously got the powder, and then we're back pretty close. But in the room, in the conveyor belt room in Thieves Town, Salatmann took a errant, trying to dodge a skeleton, took an errant fireball directly in his chest, and died before returning the maiden.
Oh.
So
that was like the worst death there. That is really bad.
Yeah, probably an over-minute loss. He exasperated a bit by thinking he had to go back up, or autopilot, one of the two. Depends. It's might have been autopilot. Went back up to blow out the hole, which stays blown up. And yeah, it was a really good run though. Even with that, you guys probably would have been back to back throughout the entire run. You might have still won though, even without that death.
I guess although in order for me to beat someone like him, he'd have to make a big mistake, and I golded I think something like 6 splits.
I honestly think you might have still won. It would have been extremely close. It might have been a tie, honestly. He lost about 2.5 to 3 minutes, and that's about what you beat him. So it would have been a very close race.
Yeah, I was like, I kind of slowed down a little bit towards the end, at the end of Ganon's Tower, and on my Ganon fight, that obviously I missed my 1-1 cycle. Like, I just released the spin too early, because I was looking at it, I was like, all I need to do in this fight is not die. If I don't die, I will win this race. So
that's a good way to play in a race setting.
Yeah.
Get that PB on a different time when you skip powder and such.
Yeah, so I've been taking to dropping powder lately, but I really wanted it for this race just in case. Like it kind of saved me in Ice Palace, where I took some pretty errant hit off of some enemy. I forget what it was. So, but after that, I breathed pretty easy. I had a really good mire. My Turtle Rock was pretty solid, but I ran into a Pokey, which was like ugly. But after that, after I killed Trinex, I felt like I was. Yeah, and that's when I actually started to breathe a little bit, and I was like, "Oh man, I think I can actually win this race." So it was a lot of fun.
Yeah. Again, that was a treat to watch. Very good run, and congratulations, you made it into the bracket with that win. So
yeah, this is a very odd, an odd bracket we have here. The 2 and the 3 seed getting in. I think Salad is maybe a little rusty. I don't know. But he had a really tough break against me and his opponent, Fricker, who huge shout out to him. He actually went over my PB a while ago and really helped me with what I'm doing. So and he has had huge gains too. So it's hopefully our group goes on upset, does a little more damage in the brackets. Hopefully. Yeah,
I mean, heck, that's a lot of people said, oh well, why even do the groups? The 1 and 2s. I saw it in the chat. Some people were like, why even do the groups? The 1 and 2s are just going to win every time. Not necessarily. There were a lot of 3s who were already showing PB for 5 minutes, PB by 2 minutes, PB by a minute, PB by 30 seconds, PB by 30 seconds. There's just PBing constantly. So
I mean, I guess the testament to that is definitely the community. You got shout outs to guys like Josh and Blunt Bunny and Greenham and Scribo and all these guys who they had to do this in a setting where there was no information. We just have tons of information, so we just get to PB by huge gains on the back of their work. So huge shout outs to those guys. They're making the rest of this community so much better. This has been great.
And now there's even more resources now. If you want to get into the nitty gritty, I think Jake, if it might be the Jake in chat, somebody has 16 hours worth of tutorials on YouTube somewhere that are all how to save 1 frame here, how to save 10 frames there, and that's how you get these insane times. Then there's
go
ahead.
So once I learned to stop walking into door frames,
yes,
things have just been a whole lot better.
The other recommended ones I would say is if you want to learn this game, the most important resource is the practice hack. You can do that by typing in !PRAC. That is the best tool in all of speedrunning to learn any speedrun. It gives you presets for the run, it lets you teleport to spots, and it lets you give yourself equipment. So if you want to practice say 100%, it's still a decent way to do it. It just doesn't have presets for it. So
I think I spent probably about 3 hours on that alone today. There's a bunch of great tutorials out there. Fruit Bats is the guy who got me started. He has a great tutorial. Yeah, I think a lot of guys can attribute their start with him. And then if you want to get a lot crazier, Blunt Bunny's task is insane. That's
yes. Oof. I put that out because I saw you were doing a few rooms that looked like they were God Spice room strats. So I called it out at one point. I'm like, that looks like it's from the God Spice, which you can see if you type it in. That's a great resource as well. Andy's 8-hour tutorial is a really good way to move after, the best, I think it is, get the practice hack, Watch Fruit Bats get through your first like run or two. Move on to Andy's like 8-hour tutorial. Yeah, that sounds like a lot, but man, it's a well-made tutorial. So those are ways to get in. But there are other things going on Speed Gaming today. I don't know when the next ALTTP match is today. That is no major glitches. It looks like it's going to be on Speed Gaming 4 at 9 p.m. Yeah, looks like there's not much NMG today. Unless I'm missing it somewhere. But that looks like it. If you like ALTTP... Oh no, there it is. It's at 3 p.m. on Speed Gaming 4. There it is. But yeah, so there you go.
Well, thank you very much. I really thank you for commentary. I really appreciate it. Thank you for chatting with me. All right, and I hope you all have a great night. I'm out. Thank you so much.
See ya. Hey, have a nice night, everyone. Enjoy. If you're looking for things to watch, there is a randomizer race on right now. Randomizer race starting in like 5 minutes. Fusion starting in like 15 minutes. And then NMG starting in about an hour and 15 minutes. So.